Welcome back. Want to talk markets now? We have with us Randy Barron, portfolio manager at Pinnacle Associates. And Randy, before the break, I was talking about how infrastructure stocks, it was sort of off to the races once we heard from President Biden that he had some sort of an agreement with a group of bipartisan senators. So to your mind, is the infrastructure trade back on?
Yeah, I mean, to our mind, the most impactful thing that President Biden just said in his remarks was that great quote that said, "This is proof that American democracy can deliver." You know, we're equity stock pickers and we own stocks like Tudor Perini, which are construction based, that are going to build the infrastructure. But I don't think you can be an equity stock picker and not have optimism that America has a good future.
Randy, I know we want to get to some companies or stocks of interest in a moment, but curious to know how much more room you think the markets have to run once that deal is finalized more broadly across Congress, because this is just a bipartisan group of senators right now that have reached this deal. We have the Dow right now up over 350 points. But once the ink is dry, so to speak, on that deal, do you think we're going to see another huge pop in the markets, or will it be baked in by then?
Yeah, you have a couple of really good tailwinds coming out of it. Obviously, the Fed scare from last week over inflation is beginning to fade. You put on top of that the infrastructure bill that President Biden mentioned is going to really bring jobs and push the economy forward. And then even if you look globally, I mean, France and Germany both today with their business climate indexes, Germany the highest in 2 years, France the highest since 2007. It seems like the tone is really shifting towards optimism pretty broadly.
I want to get back to those infrastructure stocks for a minute, because I'm seeing Caterpillar, which is a Dow component, up better than 3%. We've got Deere higher by 1%. Alcoa surging more than 3.5%. If you were to play the infrastructure space right now, or if you are, or if you were to advise others, what would you suggest? Are you looking at ETFs, or there's specific companies that folks should be considering?
No, we like the appeal of active management and having specific stocks. And I mentioned Tudor Perini before, TPC, Granite Construction is another. Those stocks are both up 5% on this because they're the picks and shovels that go into the actual work. So Tudor, for example, is rebuilding Newark Airport, right? All of us who travel in this country know that our airport and road infrastructure needs a lot of work. Tudor Perini doing a lot of work on the LA Metro, for example. So these are companies that are going to directly benefit from everything President Biden just delineated. And I don't see a need for an ETF when there's a really specific way to ride that tail.
So, Randy, usually after news is released and we already have the headline out, it's usually sometimes a little bit too late to get involved in some of these companies. How much opportunity do you think still exists in some of these infrastructure trades, or do you think there is still opportunity there?
Yeah, we do. I mean, just to use that Tudor Perini example, you know, they have they're contractors and they have lawsuits from going back 3 to 5 years where every change order that someone makes, think about it like when you do your house and you said, oh, I don't want to have this wall in one place. You make a change order. Well, they document all of it. So there's a legal process to go through reconciliation, to use a political term. And a company like Tudor Perini essentially has a tail coming for the next, call it 3 to 5 years. So yeah, I think a lot of these stocks, because they're not at their high. I mean, I know that today all the component stocks are, I think 75% of the stocks are green today, just in the S&P, which is a wild number if you look at the heat map. But individual stocks like that we think are trading at a real discount to intrinsic value with catalysts coming, we certainly like the potential for companies like TPC.
All right, Randy Barron, portfolio manager at Pinnacle Associates. Thanks so much for joining us with this breaking news.